It's Friday, May 26th, and when it's Friday, you know what that means. It's time for Comics Forever. Welcome back to Comics Forever, the weekly show where I tell you about all the comics that we love that you should be reading. Since this is my show and I can do whatever the heck I want, we're doing an all Doom Patrol episode. If you're not familiar with the Doom Patrol, which is my all-time favorite superhero team, it's kind of hard to describe the Doom Patrol. How would I describe them? It's like the X-Men if you took away the baseball and added, like, non-stop existential crisis. They have the exact same amount of queer drama, though, so. It's also like if you took the Justice League and instead of giving them superpowers, you gave them just, like, a boatload of trauma and gave them a, like, lethal amount of peyote. Kinda like if MK Ultra were run by Dr. Frankenstein. So, you know, if those aren't selling points for you, I don't know what to tell you. This isn't the show for you because let's get weird. So first up in our Doom Patrol rundown, we're going in chronological order, so you know I've got to start with the Doom Patrol by Grant Morrison with art by Richard Case. This is not the beginning of Doom Patrol as a book, but this is what made it the weirdo, freak show, bizarre odyssey that we all know and love. Essentially, the book was kind of like on its last leg, about to get canceled, so they threw it to this weirdo Scottish guy that like no one had ever heard of and like took a chance, and gold, just a masterpiece was made. Yeah, if you're familiar with the TV show, this is very similar to where they took a lot of the story plots from. You know, you got your Robot Man, this Jane is pulled like beat for beat. The Negative Man, the whole Dorothy, they're all in there, basically everyone except for Rita and Cyborg from the show. But like, you're not ready for how just bizarre and fun this is. There's 3 books that are this size that makes it really easy to collect, and I highly suggest that you do if you have not. And if you have, go back and read it again because it's literally a masterpiece. It's so good. So next up in our Doom Patrol rundown, I don't physically have the book in store, so let me try something. We're gonna have to take a little road trip. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Welcome to KCHQ. We had to come to my home because a very special part of the Doom Patrol catalog was in my collection, the Rachel Pollack omnibus. Now, if you're not familiar with Rachel Pollack, that is a absolute shame. She was a trailblazer. She took over Doom Patrol immediately after Grant Morrison's run and immediately took that bizarre, insane aesthetic that Grant Morrison created and then made it her own. She was an absolute trailblazer, one of the very first out trans writers in the comic book industry, and also created the first trans superhero. Unfortunately, she just recently passed away. R.I.P. to a queen. Yeah, and this omnibus is the very first time it has ever been in print, and it only got printed last year. We didn't have a copy at the store, so, I highly recommend you come in and order a copy. This is the entire thing. It's $100, and it is well worth your time. It is beautiful, and it is an essential reading for any Doom Patrol fan. Okay, made it back. Alright, so next up in our Doom Patrol rundown is the Gerard Way and Nick Darrington run from about 2016. If you're not familiar with Gerard Way, he is Grant Morrison's protege, but also famously wrote Umbrella Academy and was in this little band that I know you're familiar with from your emo phase in middle school. We all saw your MySpace profile. Don't try to hide it. So this Doom Patrol run is basically, it's got like all the faces that you know and love from the Grant Morrison and the Rachel Pollack run, but with a couple new faces and the new aesthetic. It's a new twist on the old flavors. It's really fun. It's a great jumping on point too. If you're not going to check out the Morrison and Pollack stuff, but like, what are you doing? Just read all of it. Read the whole thing, the whole catalog. It's all beautiful. So make sure you grab some Gerard Way Doom Patrol. And bringing us right up into the modern era the current year, 2023, we've got The Unstoppable Doom Patrol by Dennis Culver with art by Chris Burnham. Yeah, you can definitely tell that Dennis Culver is a huge fan of all the books we've already mentioned. And yeah, it's a new team for a new era. Jane is one of her personalities is the chief, which I think is like a really cool twist. And they've already introduced a couple new teammates, and you know you still got Robot Man, you still got Rita, you still got Larry Trainer, you got the whole crew, plus some new faces. Beast Girl is a personal favorite. She's really cool addition. Yeah, there are 3 issues out so far. The 3rd issue just dropped this week, so there's a couple issues for you to catch up on. So make sure you grab Doom Patrol 1, 2, and 3 on the shelves today. That is it for this week's weird and wonderful Doom Patrol edition of Comics Forever. Make sure you join me again for next week for more Comics Forever every single Friday. In the meantime, make sure you go check out my podcast, Tales from the Short Box, where I cannot shut up about Grant Morrison and all of these creators, really, and all the Doom Patrols. Every chance I get to bring it up, I will. So, you better believe it, that issue 3 is in that episode. Yeah, so go check that out. Go read some Doom Patrol, go get weird, and we'll see you next Friday. Comics Forever. In our Doom Patrol chronological rundown, Jesus Christ, the weird and wonderful Doom Patrol edition of, I forgot the name of my show. Okay.